What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be breaking down how to create this classic CRT effect without any plugins. And before we get into the video, I want to let you guys know that I run the Motion Visual Shop where I sell editing packs and presets for editors. I'm currently running a 2-in-1 bundle for both my particle looks as well as my distort effects editing packs. So if you guys would like to level up your edits and save money, I'll have a link to that down in the description. With all that being said, let's get right into the video. So here in After Effects, we're going to be creating this effect on this Ken Carson music video, and I'm going to be focusing on the first clip. For the first step, let's create a new adjustment layer and make sure it's the same length as your clip. For the first effect, I'll be adding a noise. Increase the noise. We want this to be pretty intense because we're going for that CRT effect, and I'll be turning off the use color noise. For the next effect, we're going to add a mosaic. Right when we add this effect, we have this really pixelated, low quality look. So we're going to increase both the horizontal blocks as well as the vertical blocks to the same value. I'll be increasing it to 400. And that already creates this really like low res type of look. And then for the next effect, we're going to be adding a curves. For this effect, I'll be bringing up the highlights just by a little. And then for the shadows, just drag that down. As you guys can see, we really have like the highlights popping out, and that just makes the effect look better. For the next effect, let's add an optics compensation. Increase the field of view. And by doing that, it creates this like warped look. So I'll just increase that to 55. And because we did that, it creates this transparent background. So in order to fix that, we're going to add a transform. And for this effect, just increase the scale so that it fully fills in the composition. Increase that to 120. Then we're going to be adding a light flicker effect. So for the next effect, we're going to add an exposure. Keyframe the exposure at 0 at the start. Click that layer, click U to reveal the keyframes. Go forward 1 frame. Increase the exposure. I think like around 1 should be good. Then we're going to go forward another keyframe, go forward another frame, keyframe that back to 0, easy ease all the keyframes. And like I mentioned, we want that flicker effect for the lights because, you know, we only have it at like the start and I want it to show throughout the clip. So we're going to be adding an expression. Hold the Alt button, left click your stopwatch, and we're going to be adding a simple loop out expression. So just type that out and then open up the parentheses and close the parentheses. So that way, as you guys can see, when we play this, we have that light flicker effect. So it's important to have those keyframes and then add the expression. We're going to then add a final effect. Let's add a glow. Increase the glow threshold. I'll just be increasing that to the max value at 100%. Also going to increase the glow radius. Increase that to maybe around like 150, and then increase the glow intensity just by a little. So obviously, you know, this all really depends on your clip. And this effect works the best during like the nighttime or if your subject is in like a darker environment. So we have the first part of the CRT effect done. Next thing we're going to do is create a new adjustment layer. Make sure it's the same length as the clip. For this adjustment layer, we're going to add a Venetian blinds. Change the direction to 90 degrees. Increase the transition completion so that we can actually see the lines. I'll be increasing that to 30%. And because the lines are a little too big, we can decrease the width to, I think like 10 looks good. For the feather, I'll be increasing that just by a little. I increase that to 2. So that way it can create more of like the softer edges for the lines. And then for the next effect, we're going to add a Gaussian blur. For this effect, we don't want it to be too intense either. So I'll just increase the blurriness to like 3. So that way we have this really cool CRT effect. So it's really as simple as that. And for this next part, it's not really necessary, but we're going to be creating a transition from this CRT clip into this normal clip. So in order to do that, it's going to be really simple. Go to the final frame of your clip and we're going to duplicate that, bring that above the other layers. And for that final frame for this clip that we just duplicated, we're going to freeze frame it so that it's a still image. Then I'll just cut this layer so that's only 1 frame. Bring this layer above the clip that we're going to be transitioning into. So just make sure that it overlaps with that clip. Then we're going to duplicate this layer with all the effects, bring that above that freeze frame layer. And I want this layer to only be 2 frames. So just go forward 2 frames, click Ctrl+Shift+D in order to cut that layer. Then we're going to duplicate this second adjustment layer and then just do the same thing, bring that above that other freeze frame layer, cut that one to 2 frames as well. And then we're going to create a final adjustment layer above these layers in order to create a flash transition or a flash effect. So let's create a new adjustment layer. Make sure that's also only 2 frames. For the first effect, we're going to add a glow. For the settings, I'll just keep that as it is. And then for the next effect, add an invert. And because I want it to be black and white, we're going to add a tint just like that. This is how you create that flash transition. So I think that's a cool little, transition from the first clip into the second clip. It's not really necessary. You can just have, like the regular CRT clip, and then it just cuts to the regular footage. I just want to show you guys how to create that flash effect. But that's all I have for this video. If you guys like this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and also check out my editing packs. I'll have the link to that down in the description. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.